Alright, so here we are. It has been a little while since I've uploaded a video, but I'm just going to jump back into it as if I didn't disappear for a few months. So the real title of this video should be things that you can buy instead of a lens that will still increase your image quality, but isn't a lens. Here's the deal. You can buy so many different things that will increase your video quality other than your camera and the lens itself. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. So what ends up happening is people want to buy the new lens because they think it's gonna make their video look better, and sure it will, but new lenses can be thousands of dollars, and these are maybe some better or cheaper alternatives to buying a new lens that will still make your image look much better than it did before. The first is new lighting equipment. Lighting is such a crucial part of your video, and I think most of what makes movies look cinematic and photos look professional is not just the camera or the lens, but the lighting itself. I think is a huge factor, because you can have the most expensive camera out there with the nicest lens, but if you don't have good lighting, then it's just not gonna work. For example, if I turn off these lights right here and I just use the ceiling light in my room, then it looks like this, which is horrible. Imagine if my video looked like this. Here, watch, I'll have to brighten up my, there we go. This is so much worse compared to this. The next thing on my list would be better camera support, because there's so many different kinds of ways to support your camera, and if you're using a really cheap tripod, then you're really not getting the most out of your camera. So this could mean anything from a slider to a glide cam to a gimbal to, I don't know, some kind of dolly thing, or maybe just even a higher quality tripod. Camera movement is so important when you're making a video, and if you're using just a crappy little tripod, then it means you can't even really get good pans and tilts without it being jerky and stuff. The next thing on my list is better audio equipment. Now, this doesn't necessarily improve the visual experience, but having good audio is so important in your videos. If you've ever watched like a student film or like an indie film or something like that, or even just a YouTube video that has bad audio, then it just pulls you right out of the experience. You can't focus on it. Like you hear someone's AC in the background, or like a fan, or maybe their voice is really muffled. And there's so many different areas of audio equipment that you can sort of expand into. You can get an external recorder, you can get different kinds of shotgun mics, you can get lav mics, you could get a condenser microphone if you'd like to do streaming, things like that sits on your desk. Your audio is just as important as your visuals are. Another thing to buy that'll improve your visual quality other than a lens would be something to go on your lens. I'm talking about ND filters. If you do any recording outside, ever, then you should have an ND filter. I have talked about ND filters several times in the past, but if you don't know, they are basically sunglasses for your lens. That's the best way to describe it. It's just a piece of glass that goes in front of your lens that can darken the image. And that way you can make your image darker without having to sacrifice your creative settings. Say you want to keep your shallow depth of field and you also want to have a 1/50th of a second shutter speed, but it's just too bright out for that. All you have to do is slap on the ND filter and you can keep the settings you want to get the creative effects you want without sacrificing your exposure. You can also get a polarizing filter, which is really nice for shooting landscapes or things like that. It essentially cuts out reflections and things, so it makes the blues in the sky look more blue, or water more, it makes water look like nicer. Or if you're trying to shoot through a window or a windshield of a car or something like that, you can put on a polarizing filter and it'll cut that glare away, which can really up the quality of your videos. And the third type of filter you could get would be a UV filter for your lens. Now, UV filters specifically don't really have a use that makes your image better. It's mostly just a clear piece of glass that goes in front of your lens. However, that is still very important, because if you ever drop your lens or something hits your lens, then that UV filter acts as the first line of defense, basically. Trust me, it's much better to crack or scratch your UV filter than your lens, because a new UV filter will cost anywhere from $20 to $150, where fixing a cracked lens could be several hundred at least. So you might not think you need a UV filter, but it's better safe than sorry. The final thing you can spend your money on, other than a new lens, in my opinion, to improve your image quality, would be online classes. There are plenty of websites like Masterclass or lynda.com that have these great professional tutorials that you have to pay for, but they're much more comprehensive than a lot of YouTube videos out there, and you can find exactly what you're looking for, and you can take the skills and knowledge you learned from those courses and make your videos better with it. Because sometimes the best way to make your image quality better isn't a piece of gear, but it's just you knowing how to use your equipment better. So a lot of the times, the only thing that's holding back your image quality is you. But yeah, that's all I could think of for this list. Let me know in the comments if you liked these options, or if you have any other things you recommend to buy that would upgrade your image quality, things like that. And by the way, this doesn't mean you should never buy a new lens, because sometimes that is definitely the right step, upgrading your camera or upgrading your lens. Sometimes you need to do it for sure. But just think of all the other things you can do before you choose a new lens. Anyways guys, thank you for watching. If you like this video, you can hit the like button. If you want to see more, you can hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I think that's about it. I will see you guys in the next one.